Get ready, movie lovers. From bone-chilling horror to jaw-dropping superhero showdowns and epic sci-fi sagas, 2026 and 2027 are stacked with unmissable films. We're counting down the 10 most anticipated upcoming movies you absolutely cannot miss. Grab your popcorn. Let's dive into the countdown. Coming in at number 10, Resident Evil 2026. The story follows Brian, a medical courier transporting organs between hospitals, whose routine delivery to a remote hospital spirals into a nightmare when a viral outbreak erupts around him. Set within an alternate timeline tied to the T-virus catastrophe, Brian finds himself trapped in the collapsing streets of Raccoon City as mutated, infected creatures overrun the area. With no combat training and no clear plan, he must rely on instinct alone to move from one perilous location to the next. Along the way, he crosses paths with figures connected to the shadowy Umbrella Corporation, whose experiments are at the root of the crisis. As the city descends further into chaos, Brian's ordinary life is upended completely, forcing him into a desperate, non-stop fight to make it through one horrifying night alive. Coming in at number 9, Fall 2, Deadpoint 2026. The story follows Jax, a woman still reeling from the death of her sister in a climbing accident, who agrees to a memorial expedition proposed by her sister's daring friend, Luce. Seeking closure, the two travel to Thailand to conquer Mount Kwan, tightrope walking across narrow wooden planks suspended thousands of feet in the air. When a sudden rock slide strikes, the pair becomes stranded on the exposed terrain with no way down and no rescue in sight. As extreme heights, dwindling resources, and unforeseen dangers close in, buried tensions and secrets between the two women begin to surface. Jax must confront both the physical horror of her situation and her own unresolved grief in order to survive. Coming in at number 8, Mayday 2026. The story follows Lieutenant Troy Assassin Kelly, a hotshot U.S. Navy pilot sent on a top-secret mission into Soviet territory during the height of the Cold War. When the operation goes catastrophically wrong, Troy is forced to crash land and finds himself stranded deep behind enemy lines. He is discovered by Nikolai Ustinov, a gruff former KGB agent with an unexpected fondness for American culture. As the two men navigate the hostile Russian wilderness together, an unlikely and comedic alliance begins to form between them. What starts as a tense standoff gradually turns into mutual respect, as Troy's only real hope of survival and rescue may rest in the hands of the man who was once his enemy. Coming in at number 7, Other Mommy 2026. The story follows Bela, an 8-year-old girl living in a home strained by her parents' marital problems. Her world begins to unravel when a sinister entity emerges from her closet, one that looks and sounds unnervingly like her own mother. Bella comes to call the presence Other Mommy, and as it grows bolder, it starts to insinuate itself deeper into the family's life, threatening the fragile stability that remains. What begins as something only Bela seems to notice slowly spreads to unsettle the entire household. As the true nature and intentions of the entity become clearer, the family is drawn into a chilling struggle over identity, trust, and who truly belongs in their home. Coming in at number 6, Clayface 2026. The story follows Matt Hagen, a small-town kid from Gotham whose meteoric rise to Hollywood stardom is violently cut short when a local crime boss leaves him horribly disfigured. Abandoned by the people who once surrounded him, and with nothing left to lose, Matt seeks out an experimental, cutting-edge treatment that seems to miraculously restore his former appearance. However, the treatment comes with a terrifying and unforeseen cost, gradually warping his grip on reality itself. As his body and mind begin to change in ways he can't control, Matt descends further into obsession and rage. What follows is a destructive, all-consuming path toward revenge against those who wronged him. Coming in at number 5, Avengers Doomsday 2026. The story is set in the aftermath of Marvel's recent multiversal upheavals, following heroes drawn from 3 distinct universes who find themselves converging under extraordinary and dangerous circumstances. As old alliances are tested and new threats emerge, this expansive group of Avengers, Wakandans, and other heroes are drawn onto a collision course they never anticipated. Together, they must confront an existential danger unlike anything they've faced before, one that threatens the fabric of reality itself. Framed as the beginning of the end for the current era of storytelling, the film brings together familiar faces and unexpected allies alike. Their choices here are set to shape the future of this entire universe going forward. Coming in at number 4, Dune Part 3, 2026. The story is set years after Paul Atreides seized control of the Imperium and became emperor, wielding more power than any single person was ever meant to hold. Worshipped as a religious icon by the fanatical Fremen, Paul now faces mounting resentment from the political houses he displaced during his rise, along with a conspiracy quietly forming within his own inner circle. As his holy war's consequences ripple across the galaxy, old allies resurface and new threats emerge, testing his ability to control the very forces he unleashed. Betrayal lurks close to home, complicating his reign in ways he did not foresee. Paul must navigate the fallout of his own legend while confronting the cost of the power he now holds. Coming in at number 3, Werwulf, 2027. The story is set in 13th century England, where a mysterious creature begins stalking a foggy, isolated countryside, turning old local folklore into a terrifying present-day reality. A man known only as Man lives with his family in a rural community plagued by this unseen menace. Though flashbacks reveal he was drawn into a dark and supernatural fate by an ominous elder years before. As the threat around his village intensifies, buried secrets from his past begin to resurface, threatening everything he has tried to build. The film explores themes of devotion and damnation as the boundary between man and monster grows increasingly unclear. What unfolds is a harrowing tale of guilt, faith, and the darkness someone can carry within themselves. Coming in at number 2, The Thomas Crown Affair, 2027. The story follows Thomas Crown, a wealthy and calculating man who orchestrates the theft of a valuable painting with meticulous precision, even as another heist unfolds around him. An insurance investigator is assigned to track him down, certain that he is behind the crime despite his polished, untouchable exterior. As the cat-and-mouse pursuit between them intensifies, an unexpected attraction begins to form, complicating both their objectives. Every move Crown makes appears calculated, yet the deeper the investigator digs, the more she realizes there may be more at play than a simple robbery. The tension between duty and desire builds as both parties are forced to decide how far they're willing to go for each other. Coming in at number 1, Jumanji, Open World, 2026. The story follows the now familiar group of friends who have escaped the ever-shifting jungles of Jumanji multiple times before, believing their days trapped inside the game were finally behind them. This time, however, Jumanji itself breaks free of its console, spilling its chaos directly into the real world around them. As game-born dangers and creatures begin infiltrating everyday life, the group must band together once again to restore order before the chaos spreads further. Old dynamics and rivalries resurface as they're forced back into high-stakes, game-like challenges outside the safety of the console. Billed as the final chapter of their adventure, the friends face their most unpredictable and personal battle yet. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the content, be sure to hit that like button, leave a comment with your thoughts, and don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an update.